Season 2, newly promoted to La Liga, we are among the favourites to go down, and our squad is on the weaker side, but we do have a nice enough budget to fix things. Can we do it? Let's go and find out. We start the summer on a positive note, as I get a full vote of confidence from the board as they offer me a new contract. Now I have the backing from the club, let's go prepare for the season. Looking at our squad, and apart from in goal and out wide, we kinda need to strengthen everywhere. Our starting backline is feasible, but we do need to strengthen the backups. In midfield, we need a starting CDM, and up top, we have to find somebody to replace lonely goal machine Mulatiari, or maybe just sign him back. In terms of outs, we'll be looking to sell strikers Baldini and Edichuri to try and raise some more funds. But before we start looking for some new signings, we do have some players to welcome in who were signed last season, 5 to be exact. Victor Barbara, a striker who will probably just be a backup. Jon Belder, a left back who definitely isn't the Liga level but might be able to do a job if we're desperate. Alvaro Carrillo, an actual useful centre back with great determination and leadership. He will sure strengthen our cover at the back. Isak Cisse, a young prospect, expecting to be loaned out. And the only player who wasn't a free transfer, Lucas Nunes. Identified last season as a young prospect at CDM, he will cover for the first team this season, as hopefully we can sign somebody better to start the shortlist. Main positions we're focusing on, CDM and striker. So let's start with CDMs. I don't plan on changing the system this season, so we're still looking for a CDM who's more of a playmaker but can still tackle and clean things up at the back. You know, a typical Spanish CDM. So here's the list. First up, Zurich's Chiveno Tazawa. The young Swiss CDM looks like the perfect guy for the job. Next up, Salvatore Esposito. The Italian looks very solid and approaching his peak, and with good determination, he could be very useful for this young squad. But he would take a big chunk out of our budget. Nicola Moro, a good option at a very cheap price, if we can't get some of our loftier targets. Marc Bernal at Barcelona. Would only be a loan deal, but if we can't find a permanent option, he could plug the gap for the season. And if things go horribly wrong, we'll re-sign Jose Gagara. The striker list, and up first, of course, it's last season's top goal scorer Samuel Mulatiari. 28 league goals last season, we'd be crazy not to want him back. He has a 15 mil release clause, but that's our entire budget, so hopefully we can try and negotiate a better deal. If not, second option's Fernino. He was second to Mulatiari in goal scoring last season, so who more fitting to be our second option? And for how cheap we can sign him, it'd be a great piece of business. Emilio Rizabayal, a young striker playing in Colombia, is cheap and has nice potential. Not sure if he could be our starting striker, but we need backups too, so maybe he comes in as well as one of the others. Final option, Blas Amoa. Again, another man who I wouldn't want as my starting option, but as a squad player, he can cover multiple positions and would do a fine job. Outside of our main two needs, we also want another winger, well, another two. First choice on the right and a squad option on the left. So, the shortlist, Rooney Bargi on loan, Yari Vasherin on a free, Carlos Martin on a free, or Oscar Pietzoeski, maybe just Oscar, maybe we just pick somebody else. Centrally, we're looking at Mario Dorgeles, Ivan Gil, and Kalis Merha. And at the back, the list consists of Tobias Ramirez, Kasper Podolski, Lucas Holzberg, and Jorge Cabello. Let's start the bidding. So of course we went straight in for Tazawa. 4.5 mil up front, could rise to 11.5 mil, fair deal, they accept. Contract offered and accepted. Would make him one of the highest earners of the club, but I feel he's worth it. And he chooses Lazio. Okay. Right now Esposito seems too expensive, so let's see what deal we can do for the strikers. So obviously, we went straight in for Mulatieri, and they would not budge on their 15 mil release clause, which again we can afford, but I need to strengthen in so many other areas, we can't blow it all on the Italian. And with interest hotting up for Fernino because of his 5 mil release clause, we jump straight in for him, and he chooses Valencia. This better not be a theme of this summer. Not wanting a fourth rejection in a row, and in desperate need for a striker, we agreed a deal for Emilio Rizabiel, and finally we get somebody through the door. A very cheap deal, 900k up front, rising to 1.1 mil. And of course, with promotion comes players asking for bigger wages. Last season's loanee Stoichkov led the earnings on 29 grand a week, but after all the wage rises from clauses, this season Jeremy leads the way on 57 grand a week. So that's the limit on what we'll offer this summer. And because of this, the players who didn't get wage increases feel underpaid. So a chunk of my budget has to go towards sorting that out. First up to complain, left back Quagliata. This was annoying because he was one of the players that I was looking to potentially sell after an underwhelming season, so I had a decision to make. His agent said he wanted 17 to 21 grand a week, and that was way too much for a player that I'm already not convinced by. Then fellow Liga new boys Cordoba triggered his release clause for 2.5 million. I still decided to negotiate with him, and he accepted 12 grand a week, which is way more reasonable. I'm willing to pay that. So I guess now the decision's on him, and well, kind of annoyingly, he signed a new contract. At least now if we want to sell him, we can get more money. Charlie Patino and Comas would later ask for new deals and get them. Back to the ins. I decided to test the waters with some of the loan options, and Barcelona were willing to give me Rooney Bargi on loan with no loan fee. So welcome in the former wonder kid. Former? I mean, he's only 20. Still trying to offload some of the deadweight, which wasn't going very well, but we did get a bid for first choice centre-back Barthia. Elche, back in the second division, triggered his release clause, so I guess that's that. Luckily for us, we already had a ready-made replacement sitting in the shortlist, Jorge Cabello. The Levante centre-back has been on my list since last summer. Very similar to Barthia, but with superior mentals, and for 1.4 mil up front rising to 3.4, it was a no-brainer. So welcome in Cabello. Oh wait, what? Barthia rejected Elche. Well, I guess we have them both now. Our scouts were searching far and wide for young talent, and they brought to my attention Ecuadorian midfielder Patrick Mercado. And comparatively to the midfielders on my shortlist, he was better than Gil and Merha, and substantially cheaper than Dorgales. So for 1.8 mil, welcome in Patrick Mercado. After a very successful and easy negotiation with Barca for Rooney Bargi, we decided to return to our CDM hunt and approach Barca for Marc Bernal. They accepted, but Bernal did not. So right now our team looks okay, but we desperately need a start in CDM, and I would like a more experienced striker to lead the line. Back to the shortlist, and at CDM, Esposito was the best option, but he would still cost our entire budget. I do want to hold out for a striker, so we go searching for a cheaper option. That's better than Morrow, and the scouts found Ilya Gruev. The Leeds midfielder was unhappy after their relegation from the Premier League, so a 4.5 mil would see him join the Herculinos, which is the nickname of Deportivo, apparently, according to Wikipedia. With the season approaching, we had a few mil left to spend after selling Edituri, but Sassuolo weren't budging on Mulatiari's release clause, so we turned our attention to another winger, Carlos Martin. Free agent, covers both wings, could do a job through the middle, but he wants 40 grand a week, so never mind. Oh wait, Oscar's still here. Well, let's just sign him then. 2.5 mil, raising to 4 mil, sees the Polish wonder kid join us. Now we're ready for the Liga. Don't worry, Mulatiari. I will free you one day. They can't keep us apart. Wait, Spain have stupid registration rules, so I have no backup left back because Jan Balder doesn't earn enough. Who thinks of these rules? All these unregistered boys will be loaned out. The season starts here, and we play Osasuna away. Here is the team to take us into the Liga battle. Mendy's debut in net, Gruev and Bargi come straight in, and with only one striker signed, let's hope Arizabal can take the step up from Colombia to La Liga. Even game through 30 minutes, but some nice play from Osasuna sees them take the lead. Second half, and again they cut us open from the right, and Aymar, no not that one, finishes past Mendy. First game of La Liga, and we were taught a lesson. We dominated, but if you don't take your chances, you're not going to win. Maybe Arizabal isn't ready to lead the team at this level. Well, he soon silenced his doubters, and in the next game versus fellow promotees Cordoba, at 7 minutes he would score his first goal for the club. Soriano would add a second in the second half, as again we dominated the game, but this time we took our chances. Wouldn't take long to bring him back down to earth, as after that, star man Jeremy announced that he wants to leave Deportivo to play with a higher quality team. And I can't blame him really. I expected the summer to go better. I underestimated the pulling power of a newly promoted side, and we have not been able to strengthen enough. So he was told if somebody would trigger his release clause, then he could leave. One last game before the window closes, and I leave out Jeremy, because this season I need a fully committed team, and in his absence, we created a lot of chances, but again, fell to the opposition's quality. Abel Ruiz with a hat-trick. Another goal for Arizabal was promising though. 3 games in, and we only had 1 win. But things were looking okay. We're playing well, we're just not really scoring much. God, what I'd do for Mulatiari back. But on a brighter note, the deadline passed, and nobody bid for Jeremy, so he stays. For now. So, now the mission's to make him happy again. Well, after dropping him against Girona, I made the decision to start him in the next game against Sociedad, because he's here now, and he has to just suck it up. And well, within a minute, goal. But we'd be down at the half, and then lose the game. Not a classic, both teams poor. Fair to say my assistant didn't enjoy that Sociedad performance. Well, this month wouldn't get any better. Betis, Barcelona, and a derby versus Celta Vigo. Loss, and a draw. Statistically, we're doing okay, but we just can't get the ball in the net. After 7, we still only have 1 win. It's time for a change. I've been tinkering during matches, so I have an idea. The shape stays the same, but the roles will change. Both fullbacks set to fullback in possession, instead of wingbacks. We just can't be committing too many players up the pitch. CDM, switch the deep line playmaker to a normal DM. We need somebody just to break up the play, but ahead of him, it's the return of the midfield playmaker. Both CMs out of possession have also switched to regular CMs rather than pressing midfielders, but they have been asked to tackle harder. Final change, out wide. The right winger is no longer an inside winger, he'll now match the opposite side and be a wide forward. The inside winger just wasn't seeming to work, so we're going to try something new. As for instructions, in possession, attacking transitions switches to counter-attack. We aren't the best team in the league anymore, we can't just hold onto the ball when we have it. When we get it, we need to get bodies up the field, build up strategy. Switch to balance from play through press. Same reasons really, we're not the top dogs. We're still capable of keeping the ball, so that's why we're on balance rather than bypass press. Final change, and now we play for set pieces. Again, last season we wanted to keep the ball in play and stop the other team from having it, but this season we really could do with the break from a few set pieces. Plus, the short corner routine is pretty good, so let's try and use it more often. Out of possession, and we're pretty neutral. It just seems to be working better for us. So, Malaga up next, and after all that, let's hope it works. Oh, what? They're 4th? But they came up with us, and through the playoffs. Oh god, here we go. What's that? Did somebody call me a tactical genius? Bang, 4-0 demolition job. We can score goals. And who cares about me telling the players not to shoot from distance when Rudy Baji pulls that out of the bag? Ignore the deflection. Unstoppable. Real Madrid up next, and back in their heyday, Deportivo used to hold a good record at home against Real Madrid. But this game was away, and that record was like 16 years ago, so it doesn't really matter. Or does it? Ardagula gave him the lead in the first half, but the game was quiet, and after Eder Militao's red card, there was an opening for us. So up stepped the forgotten man, Mohamed Boldini. He bags a 92nd minute equaliser. The player had been on the transfer list all summer, but after that there's only one way to repay him. Wait, what? No, I didn't actually want you to stay. I'm not giving you a new deal. Okay, this is going to be the last you see of Boldini. The rest of the month, Mendy would pick up an injury, so Pereño was in the sticks as we lose to Mallorca and draw with Rayo Vallecano. After 11, we're 17th, just outside the relegation zone, but things are looking up. November. A difficult month on paper, but Villarreal is somehow bottom of the league. So Mendy back in net, and Arizabial would bag his 6th and 7th goals of the season. So we coast home 3-1 winners. Arizabial stepping up in the absence of any other striker at the club. Go away, Boldini. Athletic Bilbao up next, and they went early on the manager's seconds, so it's their new man Didier Deschamps' first game. And while I hope he knew which team he was managing with this kit clash, well, I'm not sure his players did know, as it'd be a day to forget for the Frenchman, as we romp home 5-1 winners, with some lovely goals. Sevilla up next, and again we were unlucky. Look at those stats. Their keeper played an 8.5. What? He didn't even save a penalty. So at the end of the month, we were sitting nicely in 12th. All the plaudits would go to striker Emilio Arizabial, as he bagged the Player of the Month award with 6 goals in 5 games. Wait, we only got 5 goals this month, and we only played 4 games. I guess counting's another bug in this game. December, and Christmas is a time for giving, and we gave the league a lesson in football. Espanyol, 4-0 win. Getafe, 3-1 win. Atletico Madrid, 1-1 draw. But they're a good team. They're in mid-table. Well, never mind. Patrick got Player of the Month, back-to-back Player of the Month awards for us, and we go into the January period with no money, but hope and confidence after an unbeaten month. January, and like I said, we have no money to spend. But wait, Soriano's agent can get us a 30 mil bid from Al Hilal? Mula, I knew this day would come. Wait, what's this about? I'll just tell him that money talks. Wait, it worked. I don't care if the backup goalkeeper's mad. Okay, we're getting some money. Not long now, Mula. The money is coming. Bye bye, Soriano. Thank you for your service. You were definitely not worth this money. So now with 15 mil to spend, what shall we do? Yeah, we went straight to Sassuolo, but I still refuse to pay their release clause, so we negotiate. They stall, but we get our man back. They say never fall in love with a lone player, but why not? Love always finds a way. Okay, this is getting weird now. After all that, we still had some money to spend, so we went looking for improvements at fullback. Hogsburg is still my number one option, but we need a left back. Don't worry, Hogsburg, I'll be back for you in the summer. So we find Munoz, unwanted at Sociedad and available on loan, but he chose Ipswich. Okay, so let's go for the backup option. Vivcharenko. He chose Cagliari. Okay, fine, Juan Larios then. Oh god, why did I agree to a future fee? Okay, you might not see much of this guy either. Huh? Hey Baldini, I've got you a friend. The games in January were fine, but what wasn't fine was another Jeremy incident. Injured this time, out for 5 weeks. Guess it's time for Oscar to step up. And step up he did, with a lovely deflected goal, off a slightly overpowered set-piece tactic. Rest of the month was fine. Militari would get his first goal back in a loss to Girona. We sit in 14th. The season is going well. And in better news, the window closed, and Jeremy announces he wants to stay. Well, I guess. The email doesn't sound too convincing, but oh well. He withdraws the transfer request, and we go marching on. February, and it's all about the cup. Yeah, I should have mentioned this earlier. I didn't care about the competition until now. Girona at home in the quarterfinals. And even with a slightly rotated side, we run home 2-1 winners. Overpowered corner tactic? What? No, it's normal for my centre-back to score goals like this. Trust me. Next round, semi-finals versus Villarreal. We battered them early season, but they were sat in 20th with Thiago Motta in charge. Now, they're still in 20th, but now with Thierry Henry in charge. So this should be pretty easy. And with the other semi-final being played between Real Betis and second division side Racing Santander, we could be in shot for a cup win. First leg, utter domination. Cruz and captain Valeras with goals which left Thierry Henry pretty angry. Straight into the second leg, but honestly, how has Henry not guided this team to safety? Look at it. Every player walked straight into my team. Well, here we are, and on the 45-minute mark, Mella gives us the lead. Start the second half, and they get one back. But we are largely in charge, especially with the 2 goals from the first leg. And not soon after, Charlie Partner puts us ahead. Cruz wraps it up on the night, we win 5-1 in aggregate. Not even close. Enjoy the second division Villarreal. We are in the final, and worryingly we will have to play Real Betis, who recently tore us apart 3-1. Oh yeah, the league. Well, less said about that the better. But we did end the month with a 6-1 win over Malaga with a hat-trick from Marisa Biel, who hadn't scored since the start of December, so that had seen some slip in results, because Mulatiari wasn't particularly filling us up with goals either. End of Feb, we're sat in 14th. March, and we start the month with a derby versus Celta Vigo. Draw early in the season, with them on the edge of the relegation zone, it was a good chance to score some brownie points with the fans. And well, I have Cruz to thank for that. The winger had performed well with the step up the division this season, and his brace saw us see off the rivals. Real Madrid and Mallorca beat us for the second time this season, which then saw Barcelona recall Rooney Bargi because of lack of game time. I mean, he wasn't playing great, but to recall somebody in March, it's just weird. We bounced back versus Real Vallecano, and what a bounce back. Another hat-trick from Marisa Biel, who hadn't scored since his last hat-trick, which left me a little worried. The Colombian striker was flying in the early season, but since December has only got 7 goals and 6 of them came as hat-tricks. The form doesn't show for good reading, but Mulatiari was back, and surely that goal machine could pick up the slack. Well, no, not really. Just 2 goals for him since the return, but luckily for us, Polish wonder kid Oscar has been picking up some slack. 4 goals in 3 games in March. Although he had been starting every game in Jeremy's absence, and with Bargi being recalled, he came to me to cry about not being a first team player. But look at this, Oscar. This is exactly what you are. Whatever, I'll just tell him I'll play him more. April, and the league was pretty much wrapped up for us. We were in 13th, closer to Europe than the relegation zone. But the big game for us came in the form of the Copa del Rey final. But that was at the end of the month. First, let's see this hat-trick from Patrick versus Bilbao. The Ecuadorian midfielder had been a revelation this season with goals and assists. Really made the position his own after Soriano was sold. His 3rd goal came at the end of a beautiful solo run. Cup final. Worryingly, Betis had beaten us twice this season, but surely that would only motivate us greater to get the win. Well, Isco leads the team for them, and our 11 is what has been the regular 11 in the second half of the season. Oscar, Mella, Lopez and Cabello all pushed in for starting roles. Fast start to the game, and as often has been the case this season, an underlapping run from Patrick sees him ghost into the box and finish with a deflection. 1-0 lead within 3 minutes. Dream start. 15 minutes in, and the set piece from Patino finds its way into the net, but it's disallowed because somebody's offside. First half is a quiet one. Betis have done nothing to trouble us yet. 5 minutes into the second half, and we keep the pressure on after a few corners, and in the end the ball manages to bounce around the box, and Patino finishes for 2-0. Betis reply fast though. 2 minutes later, and they get into the box for the first time in this game, and their shot deflects off left back Quagliata. 2-1. But hopefully we can take back control in this game and not let them get any momentum. And we did exactly that. Good work from the edge of the area from Patrick and Patino, which saw Patrick smash home for 3-1. Surely it's all over now. And there it is. Absolute domination in the final. The boys turned up today, and they deserve this trophy. We win Deportivo's first Copa del Rey since the 01-02 season, and with that comes qualification to the Europa League. Oh god, well, I don't know if we're going to be quite ready for that. Let's hope we get some good money to spend. We also saw a youth intake this month, which wasn't as good as last season, but we got 2 standouts. Meanwhile, last year's standout was handed his first call-up to the Brazil Under-20 squad at the age of 17. There's a bright future ahead for him. 4 games into the season, and because it's FM, here come the injuries. First Quagliata, then Cabello. Wait, those are my only left backs. Oh no, Larios is going to have to play. Wait, it's okay, there's not enough games left to trigger that clause. Then Mendy gets injured, then Pereno gets injured. Wait, I don't have any goalkeepers left. Well, this 16-year-old's going to have to do. Well, the season ended strongly. We sneak into 10th. Not bad for relegation favourites. Henry and Villarreal almost snuck out, but down to the second division for them. Barcelona claimed the title back off Real, and Betis get a record 3rd place finish. In terms of our squad, Erisabel led the way with goals with 20, and that would see him finish second in the league scorers race. Patrick not far behind him with 15 goals, but no one else in double figures, something to improve on next season. Assists, and again Patrick with 10. Patino and Loriero with 7. I've been impressed this season. I didn't think some of these players could handle the step up, but Mella, Lopez, Quagliata have all been great. Patino also made some massive leaps this season. Disappointments come in terms of Jeremy, who did have a very disjointed season with the unhappiness and injuries, but I did expect more from him when he did play. Gruev came in this summer and basically did nothing. Bathia almost got sold, and he was replaced, and he kind of proved me right. He couldn't handle the step up. And not all love stories have a happy ending. Mulatieri's return was horrible, with 3 goals in 19 appearances. Hopefully next season I can get him scoring again. Well, in terms of next season, similar budget, but with some raised expectations we can get some more cash. Season 2 is a success. We survived. We won a cup, and now we have Europe to battle with. We are one step closer to getting Deportivo back to the League and Champions League glory. I'll see you for Season 3.